Meeting to order, roll call, please.
President Byrne,
Here.
Trustee Brown,
Here.
Trustee Schultz,
Here.
Trustee Markwart,
Here.
Trustee Cook,
Here.
Trustee Oppenheim,
Here.
Trustee Takaoka.
We have a quorum present. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Are there any citizens that wish to address the board tonight? And you won't be recognized in committee of the whole, because all we got to do is approve the minutes. Okay, first item. Next village board meeting is January 22nd, 2019, 7 p.m. No other speaking parts from any of the department heads? Okay, Happy New Year. Omnibus vote agenda. Is there a motion to approve items A through K? Trustee Oppenheim.
Can you pull the one, I can't pull up my minutes here, but can you
Which
pull the one that has the engineering?
Yeah, come on,
Which one is it?
bear with me.
Which one?
Yeah,
E,
Oh, okay. Yeah, all right. Okay. All right. The first and second agree to that, right?
I don't even think it was the first, so,
Well,
and second, so.
second.
No, nobody said, yes.
All right.
So
So is
the-
there,
the motion
Mo-
is without E.
yeah, so is there a
And I'll
motion
second
to
the motion.
approve A, B, C, D, pull E, and then F, G,
F, G.
H, I, J, K?
Okay. So
Is there a
the-
motion to that extent to approve?
Yes.
there's a
He made
first,
it.
So
and I'll
made.
second it.
Okay,
Actually, I didn't really make the motion, I just asked to pull it.
yeah,
but-
the bullet, that's
So,
all. that-
so,
We'll give you credit.
Okay, roll call.
Trustee Schultz,
Aye.
Trustee Markwart,
Aye,
Trustee Cook,
Aye.
Trustee Oppenheim,
aye.
Trustee Takaoka, Trustee Brown.
Motion carries, I think. Do I have to vote on that one?
You have to vote on everything now.
Oh, all right.
You don't have to,
Yeah, aye. Motion carries.
but you have to vote on anything.
Oh, yeah.
So if you like that.
E is approval of passage of ordinance 2019-03.
So the-
What do you want?
So the issue with that, there was a Scrivener's error on that one, so in the actual, I need to go to the amendment there.
Oh,
Unfortunately, I can't get into like anything in the computer these days. I've been talking with Will about it. So that- So anyway, oh,
I got it here. I mean,
It's an E.
so if we look at the first one of it's like 5D, the very first paragraph of that,
of E.
of the
paragraph five.
actual,
Yes,
of the actual thing.
Oh, okay. Dave, you want to speak to that?
But he doesn't know what I'm talking
He
about.
doesn't know.
There's a Scrivener's error, let me,
But I would like to.
so. No, I need the actual
And I
amendment
don't-
there, so let's find it here. It was a simple, it's like after the budgeted
What's the
item.
number on it?
It's probably like page
03,
120 or
04?
something.
I just had it.
You can skim it, it's right after all of the bills. Oh, wait, okay, just came up right here.
It's 2019-003.
I'll get it again. I just got it.
Nope, that's not it. It's not, I'm looking for the actual, not the ordinance.
This is
It's not the ordinance, it's the amendment that it's approving. As a Scrivener's error.
For what it's worth, this isn't time sensitive,
Okay.
and if we had to put this
Basically,
on
the-
next agenda, that's okay too.
Are you
Exhibit
talking
A
about
is
in this-
blank.
In the resolution?
The-
Exhibit A will be blank. The attachments are really all of the different ordinance changes that are in the multiple layers that I presented.
No, he wants,
I want this, there we go.
no,
Storm sewer, there we go. So, section D5, storm sewerage system and drainage, number 5.
G5?
It's, I can't tell what page this is, but it's the first page, yeah, okay, so it's D,
D,
okay,
D5.
right here. Wait, no, that's
Oh,
G.
that's G.
I'm not gonna touch it, it's less than,
Somewhere up there. So,
it's all the projects we have to do.
it's clearly different. So, storm sewage system pipe serving some pumps, roofs, drains, or footing drains shall be, it says shall be less than 6 inches. It really should be not less than 6 inches.
Very good. Would you like to make that motion with that change?
I would like to move that changes.
you got, is there any question on the 12 inches for, what was that, for diameter?
It's the diameter of a 6-inch pipe is what.
So,
we're
so
looking
it should
at,
be
no
not less than, not that should it be less.
Less than.
It shouldn't be
Not
less than, it
less
should
than
be
s-
not less than.
Correct.
Thank you. We'll make that change.
Okay. I could have just
Okay.
called you to have that made. So,
Okay, that's section D5, storm sewage system and drainage. Right?
It's just incorrect.
Yes, sir.
Not less than, okay. Okay. All right, is there a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion to approve as noted.
amended.
Yeah.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Okay, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Aye. Any nays? The ayes have it, it passes. Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you and good night.
Okay.
Are we going to open a committee of the whole meeting, or we don't?
Yeah, we're,
You need to open it only to approve the minutes.
But is there anything under
Because
unfinished
now we'll be
business?
generating a
un-
set of minutes
We're,
that'll
we're-
be one line long as opposed to just postponing it,
We can certainly do that, just trying to keep up to date.
right? That makes more sense?
Sure.
So, motion to adjourn.
wait.
No.
No, so we still have
We
unfinished
still have
business?
unfinished business
Oh,
and
I'm
additional
sorry.
business or
I'm
notification.
sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay, trustee Cook.
I'm sorry.
I just, under new business communication, I was, a question for Dave about whether or not we could find a way to look into if there is some kind of enforceable signage down there at Woodland Chase with trying to keep people from doing, making a right out of there onto Buffalo Grove Road, then a quick left into the first subdivision there. The problem's gonna be, as we've talked before about, it's gotta be enforceable signage. And I don't know exactly, but I would like to see if we can look into it, because I went out and drove that, and it is gonna be not only very tempting to do, but also relatively dangerous to do because it happens so quickly.
So I think appropriate signage, and I don't know if it's out there right now, I can verify, is right turn only.
But then, no, what I'm talking about is then no left onto, I forget the name of the first road there, that goes into,
Into the neighborhood on the east side of the street there.
Okay, as you're going in.
yeah.
Okay.
And again, it has to be something that, that's
That helps.
enforceable. And I think there'd be a problem because I went out, when I got the email, I went out there to check it out. And I know our problem's gonna be enforcing it, but the other concern I had when looking at that was that it's gonna be very tempting to do. And because you do it so quickly, I mean, it happens from the moment you turn onto Buffalo Grove Road, that left is immediate. And it's gonna be, I can see that being potentially a problem because you're not gonna have long to have a left turn signal on. So I'd like to,
Let me investigate that.
yeah.
Yeah, the
I'll
problem
report
is
back
going
to
to
you.
be that it would have to apply to the residents who live there as
I
well.
totally
It means
understand that.
people
In
won't be
fact,
able to turn left into their
years
street.
ago, when Mundaline put the no left turn, kind of cut through to Allenson Road over there, the residents who lived there couldn't understand why they were getting tickets. And,
Yeah.
because when you put up a sign like that, it means everybody.
Right.
That's why I say the key is, could we find some sort of enforceable signage?
May I suggest that you just place a sign at the exit of the subdivision that indicates cars exiting this subdivision may not enter that subdivision across the street, or something along those lines, so that you
Yeah,
don't
and that's what I was
block
wondering.
out the
If there
people.
is some kind of verbiage like that that would be, that could be worked out, I think we should look into it.
Okay, very good.
Trustee Schultz.
Not on this topic, it's different. Well, are we done with this topic?
Yeah.
Okay. I was watching John Gillespie's Waters and Woods this past Saturday morning, and he had his annual show where he announced the winners of his big fishing contest. And I believe it was in the smallmouth bass category. There's a gentleman from Vernon Hills. Not often do you see the name Vernon Hills pop up as someone that is doing something. Anyway, Andrew Bishke of Vernon Hills, I believe he lives over in Grosse Pointe Village, just providing a shout out to him. Congratulations for being the 2018 winner of the Fleet Farm Fishing annual fishing contest. And God bless one of our residents was able to do something good up there.
What did he catch?
A very large smallmouth bass, I believe it was. Probably, yeah, that could very well be.
Trustee Oppenheim.
I just wanted to get an update. I wanted to know if any progress has been made regarding the pet store ordinance. I know Mr. Carey, I believe, was going to be working on that, sending it to planning and zoning, so I don't know what the status of that is, if you have any idea.
Nothing's been,
I'll take that as a no.
We'll take that.
I think that's a-
I know we got to adjust it.
Okay.
So actually, I was talking with the village manager this week about that topic, and we're
Okay.
beginning to explore that without necessarily, I guess, legislating a problem that doesn't exist necessarily, or inviting something. So the key starts to become, and we can talk about this more after the meeting, but the key starts to become, you do it with respect to stores, but what about then we heard testimony from some of the people that you brought in that were talking about so-called rescue shelters that actually were purchasing animals and then selling them versus somebody who operates out of their home, et cetera. And at what point do you want that regulation to go to or to end? Yeah, how much do you want to cover?
I'm missing that last point.
Well,
Other pet stores, there are other pet stores that do sell animals or dogs or cats. What happens?
Not here, they don't.
yeah,
well,
actually,
you can buy
what is
a
it, Pet
PetSmart.
and
Pet Smart
You
does it.
can.
They call it a donation day,
No,
but
right, so they don't sell them.
It's
It's adoption, right.
And what happens sometimes is that a breeder has a dog that is not of their caliber, and what they do is they off the dog. So sometimes those are dogs that are breeded, but I don't see a fault in it. But where we're going with this is, how do you word it, because it actually is going to be a dog that originally came from a breeder. And we're talking about breeding with pets, Petland, they're a breeding outfit.
yeah, and if you can run into problems with takings if anybody is actually selling under the pretext of a rescue operation.
Right.
If they're currently doing that, then you're outlawing a
That-
portion of their business.
If they're selling.
See, evidently, one of the gentlemen that was speaking at the last time said that many of these rescue places that adopt dogs are actually purchasing them from other breeders,
And selling.
and then they bring them in under the guise of an adoption, and you have to pay several $100s in an adoption fee. Is that any different than someone selling dogs out of the pet store? That's the question we've been wrestling with.
So they're not supposed to be selling them from
Well, they shouldn't
from
be,
the
but
breeder.
when they have
That's the issue.
rescue days at
Right.
at certain pet stores,
Right.
there's a donation involved, and we don't know where, if we're getting to the heart of this, we don't know where those dogs are actually coming from.
Well, I'd like to continue this, maybe not now, but I don't know if you're aware, the whole state of California just did this as of January 1st. So, so there's certainly ways in the model legislation that they proposed from the two that I brought in, not the other one that spoke, but the two that I brought in, addresses some of these issues. So I do want to further the point, and then we can maybe hash out some of those things before we send it to planning and zoning. So maybe, Mr. Hunt, you and I should meet about this.
Sure.
Okay,
Happy to.
great.
Okay, trustee Cook.
Yeah, I just wanted to agree with trustee Oppenheim. I think, we should look into, I know there are model ordinances out there, and I know there've been some tests on them, and some other people have figured out ways around some of the problems that we've seen. So if we can look into those, that would help us not reinvent the wheel, so.
Certainly.
Okay. Is there any other business to come before the board? If not, is there a motion to adjourn? And we're not going to close, well, we're going to close session.
We will be going to closed session to discuss personnel pursuant to 2C1 of the Illinois Open Meetings Act.
But no action will be taken after,
we will not
after the
return.
executive session ends.
So made, motion so made.
Second?
Motion and second, roll call.
President Byrne?
Aye.
Trustee Oppenheim?
Aye.
Trustee Takaoka? Trustee Brown?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz?
Aye.
Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
And Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Motion carries, meeting's adjourned. Thank you and good night. Happy New Year.